Hey guys, it's John, the Vintage Geek, the producer and host of the Super Awesome Geek Show podcast, and one of the bros of Battlefront. Today I've got something pretty interesting for you, I hope, or at least I hope you find it interesting, So, we had a lot of great news come out in the last week, especially yesterday, with the Game of Thrones producers coming on board to make us a whole new series of Star Wars films. I decided, there's a lot of great videos up there, including one from StarWars.com, Star Wars HQ, Star Wars Explained, Star Wars Theory. Everybody's done a great video, already explaining this whole news about Game of Thrones producers and all this stuff. Everyone's talked about Solo. But I thought it'd be pretty interesting today to bring everything together into one video. Like everything we know that's coming out in the coming years related to this Star Wars franchise and where Disney's taking us. Because we have a lot of new material coming out. A lot of new shows, a lot of new movies. And I'm going to sit here and just break it all down in this one video for you so you can have everything in one spot. Now, the first thing we know for sure that's coming out, the first thing on everybody's radar, comes out later this month, February 19th of 2018. It is Star Wars Rebels, the conclusion to Season 4. Now, I think we're going to get another, 6 to 8 episodes here, and then it'll be done for good. That's it. It'll be over. No more Star Wars Rebels on TV. But I do think that Dave Filoni and Pablo Hidalgo, everybody at Story Group, Disney themselves, they've all said there is a new cartoon coming to replace Rebels, which is kind of why Rebels is wrapping up. There's going to be another cartoon coming. We don't know what era it's in or what's going on with it. I'll have more on that in a minute. Now, everybody by now has seen the Solo, A Star Wars Story, teasers and trailers. If you haven't, I'll have links in the description below so you can check them out, including a link to our breakdown of those. But Solo comes out May 25th this year, 2018. So it'll be Memorial Day, Memorial Weekend, 2018. We get Solo, A Star Wars Story. That looks really great. I can't believe it. Ron Howard. It looks better than I ever imagined it would. I mean, the trailer, the teasers they put out have been amazing. And I'm just so thankful that it looks that good. Because I was a little bit worried. I actually said a couple times that I thought it'd be the lowest grossing Star Wars film of all time. But now, with seeing the buzz about the web after those trailers, those teasers came out, I have new hope. Then the next thing we know for sure that's coming is Star Wars Episode 9. Something that we know we have a date for. That'll be December 2019. Now, they've set that in stone, and I think we all agree that's when it's coming out. Episode 9 continues the story of Rey, Finn, Poe, Kylo Ren, Ben Solo. So we'll get to see where that all goes. We're heading into, totally new uncharted territory. It's pretty unpredictable. I think, because Force Awakens was sort of, our new version of Star Wars A New Hope, we all kind of figured Last Jedi would be a little bit like Empire Strikes Back, but what it ended up being was Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi sort of meshed into one. So now it's anybody's guess where Episode 9 is going to take us. Now, other things that we know that are coming out, and in my opinion, I think some of this is going to hit before Episode 9 hits. But it's still up in the air. They haven't done a positive release date for any of this. But we do know for sure, like I said before, there's a new cartoon that Dave Filoni is going to be doing after Rebels is done. And I personally think that they've already started working on it. They're not saying anything up for definite. They're keeping their mouths shut. But Disney's new app comes out at the end of 2018 or the beginning of 2019. They've already said that. Disney has come out and said it. And they did say that they want a Star Wars show on that app as one of the showrunners. When that app releases, it's going to release with Star Wars being one of the first shows that are on there that kind of draws people into buying that service. They did say the service is going to be $4.99 a month, so they're keeping it really inexpensive compared to other things that are out there. It'll either be December 2018 or January 2019 when that gets released. That's why I'm thinking a new cartoon will also show up at that time. And it might show up like, say, February, because as you can see from Star Wars Rebels, the end of Season 4, they like to do shows in February, starting them up. So it could be a pretty good guess that it'd be February of 2019 that we see a new Star Wars cartoon. And now that brings me to the live-action television show, which is also something that's coming down the road. Now, nobody knows anything about this, like what it's set in, time frame, characters, nothing. We don't know who's producing it. We don't know who's working on it. We know absolutely nothing about it. But we do know that Disney did say they want that on when they debut the app, which means it would debut either at the end of 2018 or the beginning of 2019. And I'm not sure if that's too quick. Like, unless they've already got this in the works, can they really, do casting, writing, and start filming by the end of the year? That just seems pretty far-fetched to me, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. And now for the future of the movies, the future of the film franchise. We all knew that Rian Johnson was doing his trilogy, and we knew right from the beginning that that was unrelated to the Skywalker line and unrelated to any of the episodes we've seen, like 1 through 9. So this is he wants to do a totally new era, a totally new set of characters, new planets, new everything, and go with it, which I think is a fantastic idea. There's a ton of people out there who've been wanting something fresh and something totally new characters to follow. And he's doing a complete trilogy, so they're planning on 3 movies with this. They really have some confidence in Rian Johnson to come up with a 3-story arc. I personally loved Star Wars The Last Jedi. When I first saw it, I was kind of like, what the heck did I just see? But it wasn't in a bad way. I can sort of understand why some of the people out there were just like, what? Because I was kind of like, what? When I walked out the theater. But my, what the heck just happened was not negative. It was more like, I just totally didn't expect that at all. And it just threw me for a loop. And when I saw it the second time, it everything clicked. And I was like, holy cow, this is a movie that you have to see twice. And if you don't, you're missing out. You're missing the point. I think you're losing something in it. And I've now seen it 18 different times. And I got to tell you, every time I see it, I pick out something else. And it draws me in even more. Rian Johnson made the thinking man's Star Wars film. This is one that you have to go in as an intellectual and really think about what's going on in this film. And I think with that in mind, Rian Johnson's going to make a trilogy that just blows us all away. At least those of us who are like me and like to sit here and think about these things and don't just want it spoon-fed at them. So I think that, Rian Johnson is going to do a really great Star Wars trilogy. But let's move on to the news we got yesterday, which was the Game of Thrones producers David Benioff and D.B. Weiss. They're bringing their talents to Star Wars, and we are going to get, I can't even imagine. I'm really hoping that it's something related to or in the style of Knights of the Old Republic. Because I, for one, have wanted to see something with many Sith against many Jedi. I mean, just imagine seeing these shots with tons of Sith fighting tons of Jedi and an all-out war. I mean, some of the shots that they put together in Game of Thrones were just unbelievable with their battle scenes and things. And if we got to see that in the Star Wars universe, it would just blow me away. It's what I've been wanting to see on the big screen forever. I remember being a little kid and going, why is there just one Jedi and one bad guy, one Sith? I want more than one good guy and one bad guy. I want a whole army of them. And we got a taste of that in the Clone Wars, but it really didn't deliver that grit, that wartime grit that I really wanted. I really want to see it up on the big screen. I want to see a gritty war battle, just like we do in Game of Thrones. And I think these guys are going to deliver, or at least I really hope they deliver that. But again, they have not said what era or what they're going to be doing. So this is all me speculating, actually me just hoping, I guess. And I want to know if some of you guys hope for the same thing. Do you want to see that Knights of the Old Republic era, or whatever they want to call it, the Republic Wars, or whatever? I just think it would be great. Now, another thing that us fans are hoping comes down the road is, everybody wants an Obi-Wan Kenobi film. People kind of already made up their own little things. There's a couple of homemade trailers up there where they call it Kenobi, a Star Wars story. I kind of think, why not call it Old Ben, a Star Wars story? Because by the time he's hiding in the desert, between episodes 3 and 4, all the people on Tatooine know him as the hermit Old Ben. So why not call the film Old Ben? It's kind of like Old Yeller. But he's not a dog, I know. He doesn't get rabies. So, I'm thinking Old Ben film. Let's do that. I know that Ewan McGregor has said he would like to come back and play Obi-Wan Kenobi, Old Ben. And we've even heard that Liam Neeson has said that he would, if they wanted him, come back and play the Force Ghost of Qui-Gon Jinn. So that brings about some pretty interesting elements they could put in there. And I think that the Star Wars universe would love to have, Liam Neeson come back and reprise the role, Ewan McGregor. That's some big star power that you could bring to the screen again. And I really think Disney would take them up on that. So it would not surprise me if we do have an announcement soon saying that it's definite for sure we're getting an Old Ben film. But it does bring up the question, what anthology films would you like? Do you guys want a Boba Fett film? I could kind of see that. We did have a few story arcs in the Clone Wars that dealt with just the seedy underworld, the bounty hunters. They could make a story. Well, they already did kind of the Magnificent Seven, which was sort of like the Seven Samurai. So I guess they wouldn't go back and do that again. Because we kind of got that with Rogue One in a sense. And then Solo, to me, looks like a train heist, which is going to mirror Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. That was the big thing they were known for, was doing a train heist. And it looks to me like at least part of the Solo film will be this heist, taking out that train we saw. Because we see him flying away with one of the train cars themselves in the teaser. And so it kind of makes sense to me that they'll follow the theme and do another Western type style, because I know everybody wants to see Boba Fett on the big screen again. They want to know more about him, and it'd be interesting if he took some work from the Empire and had to do something where we see him disintegrate, and Darth Vader's like, what the hell, I didn't want him disintegrated. So that's why he says that in Empire Strikes Back. He expressly says to him, no disintegrations, because we know that, that must have happened before when Vader wanted something. And Fett gave him a disintegrated guy instead of a whole one. But anyways, I'm going to wrap it up there. What do you guys think? What would you like to see in an anthology film? Was there anything I missed? Now, next week, they'll probably announce something else, because that's kind of what they've been doing. They just kind of blindside us with all this other information, all of a sudden out of left field. So, we might get more. Who knows? And let's see, what time frame do you want these to come out? Do you think they're going to do one a year? Do you think they'll do 2 a year? Would that be overload for you guys, or would you enjoy it? Personally, myself, I would like to decide. I'm all for it. I'll go see. I don't like waiting years between a new Star Wars film. I want to see them more often, and I'm digging this thing where we saw one in December, and now we're going to see another one in May. So if they did 2 a year, one every May and one every December, I would be very happy about that. All right. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Keep it geeky out there. Check out our podcast, the Super Awesome Geek Show podcast. Follow us on Twitter at Awesome Geek Show. And if you want to see some Star Wars Battlefront 2 content, check out our channel, The Bros of Battlefront. All right, thanks, guys. I'm out of here, and I'll talk to you later. May the Force be with you. Always.